welcome back to the Retrocade podcast, episode 12. This is Phil.
Sean.
And we are back with another glorious podcast. You're going to love this one. We have got some things to talk about.
Absolutely.
Some things. Well, we have a lot to catch up on. It's been a few weeks, so we're gonna just go all out on everything that's happened in the world. I guess we could start with the glorious Valentine's Day bummer of Deadpool. And it wasn't a bummer. It was actually really good. I say that, though, because Ghostbusters 2 predicted that the world ended on February 14th, 2016. If you remember when Venkman's on The World of the Psychic, and she's like, according to my source, the world will end on February 14th, 2016. Valentine's Day.
I love the guests in the Venkman show.
Yeah.
Pathetically awful.
Just the weirdo creeps. It had that lady, and then like the psychic guy that was like, I have a strong psychic belief that the world will end on New Year's Eve. And it almost did because of ego, but...
That guy was also...
He's in a lot of movies. And
he was in Seinfeld, like his shitty friend.
He was the shitty friend that was like, you're my best friend.
Like, let's go to Knicks games.
Yeah.
Well, the Knicks will play in Houston on March 7th.
Yeah. And Jerry didn't want to be friends with him anymore. He tried to break up with him in the coffee shop, and the guy started crying. Yeah, but he was an asshole, though. Remember, he was, like, mad pissed off. She's like, was there a turkey back there? Or why don't you go back there and check? She's like, I don't know. Makes her cry. You know, and then he starts crying because Jerry was like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to be your friend.
He was also the father in Transformers.
Transformers.
Which could explain if he was Shia LaBeouf's real father, and that's why he became a fucking nutjob.
So he was also the father in Small Soldiers, if you remember that movie. He was the kid's father in Small Soldiers.
The only members I have is Small Soldiers, was particularly one was Phil Hartman's last movie.
That was his last movie. He died at the end of the shooting.
They had an awesome video game.
Did it?
It was like a computer or something.
Okay.
PlayStation 1.
I was more of an N64 guy at that period.
But the funny part of the video game was I was discussing the video game at a family function of some kind.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, so you play as the evil rebel
the
commandos or something.
The Commando Elite. Whatever that was.
So at one point you're like poisoning reservoirs to like sicken the whole town.
It's just like real life.
So I'm like, oh yeah, I poisoned the reservoir. It was successful.
Somebody poisoned the water hole.
And being a 9-year-old, people are looking at you like, what did he say?
Did he just say he poisoned the reservoir?
That's
not good.
So
yeah.
Where are your children's game, it was...
pretty graphic. Oh, that's how the 90s were in 80s and 90s.
It had very terroristic level agendas,
everything
basically.
Got PC, obviously, in the 2000s and after
Post 9/11.
Post 9/11, everything, you'd say something on the edge and people would like gasp. It's insulting in PC, but, whatever. It's all in the guise of comedy. And but good stuff. And back to it. So, Deadpool. I mean, Deadpool now, I think the only rated R, not aside from maybe Spawn and also Blade, I think it was the only rated R comic book movie. I mean, like on the Marvel Cinematic Universe end of everything.
Well, Spawn was a flaming disaster.
I was just talking about Spawn the other day.
Garbage.
What a hot pile of trash that was. Everything. What's his called? John Leguizamo was what was that character's name? I don't know Spawn as well as everything else.
I was never a huge Spawn had its cult following. So.
Oh, it had a huge cult following. I remember people were bringing in the figures in the comics.
It was drastically different than anything else of its time.
Yeah. I mean, people loved it. I mean, I saw the movie and I was like, what? Did people love this? And then of course they all hated it.
And it was one of the more popular independents. There wasn't DC, it wasn't Marvel.
Right. What was their comic book company? Was it Dark Horse?
I'll have to check that because it was mid '90s, late '90s.
Late '90s, yeah. And but that was a disaster. Blade was good. I mean, the first Blade I really loved. They got shittier thereafter. I really liked the first one though.
Image Comics was the
Image Comics was the company that made that.
They're still around.
They're still around.
And 92 actually was the first issue, so it was earlier than we expected.
Yeah, no, it's what it was 90s. I mean, because what did the movie maybe come out in 97 or 98, and it was just a shit show. I mean, it's a good idea,
Todd McFarlane's an epic comic artist, and writer.
Sure. So he was the one writing Spawn. Or he wrote a lot of the episodes,
he's
issues.
An artist writer.
Yeah. He does a lot of the artwork. So he's one of the conceptual artists for Spawn.
He's also known for his role in Spider-Man. He did some awesome Spider-Man stuff.
In the first Spider-Man movie or Spider-Man in general?
Comics.
Yeah.
Late 80s. He has a very unique art style.
And they stylized stuff. Yeah,
Spider-Man and some of its prime stuff was McFarlane. So he is,
Yeah, he's up there with the
He's
comic.
a creme de la. He's renowned comic book, artist creator.
Kind of
creating Spawn was his.
That was his brainchild.
His role in Spider-Man is well known.
That's good. But going back to Deadpool now, obviously, like I knew of Deadpool. I'm not a huge comic guy, but I knew of Deadpool. And then I remember the first Wolverine movie that came out in 2009. I saw that, which was a mess. And he was in there as Deadpool. What's his name? Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds. He was there as Deadpool, and it was a mess.
So
his mouth was closed. He wasn't wearing the Deadpool outfit.
His Deadpool character, essentially, first off, he's not disfigured at all in the Wolverine movie. And
he's disfigured.
He looked like a gay samurai. He was wearing a leather vest and he was prancing around.
And his mouth was closed. He just wasn't wearing the Deadpool outfit, and he had those stupid like claws coming out of it, like samurai's hands or whatever. And he was just fighting Wolverine with them, and he could like teleport or whatever. It was just shitty. And I remember not hating the movie too much after I seeing it, and then maybe a few weeks later I was like, that's fucking stupid.
So
and then they remade it. They made another Wolverine.
I saw Wolverine 2 where he goes to Japan.
Yeah. That one was better. That was better.
It was fairly bad.
You didn't like the one where it explodes in the hole?
There's some like serpent woman. The plot was just
Keep going.
Awful.
Yeah.
So because of the success of Deadpool and kind of the darkness of Wolverine, and also their limited availability of him, because Jackman's essentially like he's about to be done.
Well, he said he would do more, but he's getting on the lower end, the end of it.
But I feel like Wolverine's similar to an Iron Man character where no Robert Downey Jr. Who the fuck's gonna?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Who's gonna replace him now? I'm sure they'll find somebody like they're finding a new Han Solo. I'm sure they could fucking replace Wolverine if they're gonna be replacing Han Solo.
Yeah, but you're finding Han Solo 30, 40 years ago. It's a little easier. You're kind of doing a retro story.
Yeah, we're doing a retro story without me. Thank God.
I actually read.
It's my Harrison Ford impression.
Something was today or yesterday that Chewbacca will be in the Han Solo movie, which is without a doubt.
Naturally,
I think that's surprising to anyone.
Of course, you're gonna need him.
But Deadpool as a whole, the only groundbreaking thing about it really was the success of being rated R.
As in regards to groundbreaking, other than it was a fun, very entertaining comic book movie. I was entertained the whole time. It's hysterical. You're laughing through the whole time. Ryan Reynolds' jokes play very well. It's very well in his wheelhouse of comedy.
It's his exact wheelhouse.
It's his exact wheelhouse.
His other movies he made were just awful.
What was the one? He's Green Lantern? What a disaster.
Complete shit. Terrible.
It's a shit show.
It set DC back 10 years.
It really did.
And if you look at his character angle, the only other movie where he's really kind of funny and likable is Van Wilder when he plays another.
Oh, he's with Waiting, movies like that. He's got a lot of those.
Kind of like leading sarcastic.
Yeah, he's
dick.
like an alpha dick,
Alpha dick, perfect term.
Yeah.
But Deadpool, it's not my humor per se, but what I did like was, and which Deadpool.
Oh, you didn't like the humor of it?
Deadpool's known for was kind of breaking that fourth wall. And talking to the audience. Hey, listen, this is just giving like an approach outside of the comic story. So it's never done, and Deadpool's pretty much notorious for the only one doing it.
Sure.
But no, it was good. I definitely was not disappointed.
No, like I said, the whole movie, I was entertained pretty much the whole time.
I think the weakest part of the movie was the villain himself, Ajax.
That was the first thing I thought of when I heard his name.
And what is he? He just some asshole, like kind of.
Did they make him up, or is he in the comics?
He's probably a very minor character. But
I know Negasonic teenage girl. She's a newer X-Men character in the she's not
Colossus
in the newer
known as
comics.
Obviously,
yeah. I liked his Colossus though. That was fun.
It was actually a much better Colossus than we've seen.
In the second.
Because the other X-Men, Colossus renditions were just shitty.
It was just a young, big dude, but this was like
Russian body.
Yeah, just get like a Russian jacked young kid who was in his 20s, and that was it. This time they actually had like a big CG Russian dude type of thing.
Yeah, he was in the whole,
Yeah. And then he fights some chick. I don't know who she was. But the movie's entertaining through and through. The action's good. It's funny. He's good as the character. The whole arc is pretty good.
So Ajax,
the fourth wall stuff is enjoyable.
I'm looking So his first appearance was in Deadpool number 14, so late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually just in the Deadpool universe.
Yeah.
Pretty minor.
Yeah, he's not Deadpool's arch nemesis.
He's kind of a government operative with cybernetic enchantment.
Right.
So he's basically worthless as a whole, but as most origin stories go, you're not going to have the big baddies at the get-go.
Yeah.
Look at the Spider-Mans.
Because they've already greenlit a second one. You know.
I mean, without a doubt. It's the amount of money they made.
Yeah, I mean, it's the third biggest R-rated movie of all time in regards to money? It's one of it's definitely in the top 3 if it's not number 1 at this point.
I think release. I don't know about all time.
Oh, the weekend release it's the biggest.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure overall now it's at least the third. We could look it up on Box Office Mojo right here. So I'll do that right now. But I'm pretty sure it's definitely up there. If it's not number 1, it's in the tops. Here we go. Deadpool. It's the third biggest Tuesday box office so far. Zootopia, or is that this Tuesday? Wherever.
I think it came out last week. That Disney
Zootopia. They did pretty well.
Animated.
It's the number 1. It's the biggest revenge movie of the genre. The series of X-Men. It's number 1.
It's hard to tie an X-Men because they even made a joke like, "Oh, you can only get these 2 characters."
Yeah. They were like, "Oh, I guess they couldn't afford." It's the biggest opening weekend of February, biggest opening weekend of winter. It's not bigger than Star Wars: Force Awakens though for the weekend.
I wouldn't think so.
President's Day 4-day holiday opening weekend's number 1. Rated R opening weekend number 1. Rated R overall, it's number 3. Let's see what's number 1. The number 1 is Passion of the Christ, and after that is American Sniper for rated R. It's number 3. Number 4 is The Matrix Reloaded. I didn't even know Matrix Reloaded was rated R.
The Matrix were frustrating because the first one was so groundbreaking.
Oh, it is frustrating.
And then it gets just too fucking overboard. You know.
It was the first one was great. Second one was The third one was an absolute disaster. I remember walking out of there laughing at how bad it was. Like, oh, that's how they ended it? What a piece of shit.
Even in like psych classes in college and stuff, they use the red and blue pill scene as a study of the brain.
Makes
you know?
sense,
it's such a groundbreaking scene.
That's great, man. That first movie is awesome. So many awesome science fiction concepts in there.
It really inspired a lot of people, but
absolutely.
They just went overboard with it and it got to the point where what the
they
fuck
butchered
is
it.
this?
I don't know what happened to those Chavarsky brothers. Who are the Wachowski brothers? One of them I know is a woman now. I don't know if that had any...
Oh, really? So there's some transgender involved.
One of them was transgender, yeah. One of them turned into a woman. I mean, I don't know if, like, the fact that she was going through, you know, the transition at the time maybe changed the way that they were writing
You're
it.
acknowledging her...
Well, she's a woman now. I mean, if you see pictures of her, it's like you wouldn't even know.
I don't work for the DMV, so I don't have to justify
you don't have to
her...
see these people or justify their genders.
Yeah, her...
But, the way
her
they...
decision, if you will.
Yeah, of how they identify themselves. But, yeah, I don't know, like, if maybe, you know, they were going through some things and they were like, let's switch it up and do this. But, I mean, the first one's great.
Or is it like, I hate penises, so I'm going to make this
anti-penis.
pseudo,
yes.
cyber,
yeah,
transgender flick.
We're going to make the machines are going to be a giant vagina. It's like, what? But it was terrible, the last one. I thought, really, I did not like, no good ideas at all. I mean, I guess from where that first one went, how do you go? Because, like, the funnest parts of the first Matrix were him doing fun stuff in the normal world, you know? It's like, you kind of like a Superman in the normal world. And cool ideas and the
you gotta love the office scene,
jujitsu,
too, when the phone rings and it's just, that was fucking
that's great.
Awesome.
I mean, all those scenes, those were all filmed in Australia.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
If not Australia, New Zealand, but any of those scenes are just great to watch, and like I automatically know like that I'm gonna enjoy myself when one of those scenes are on, like, and I'm gonna, you know, keep my eyes peeled to it because they're all fun, like the woman in the red dress scene and all those scenes and everything with the agents and all that stuff. But then, you know, Neo turned into Jesus essentially, and they kind of friggin'
So you know they'll do a reboot eventually. It'll be in our lifetime. I would say another 20 years.
I'm sure Keanu won't even be anywhere near there. Keanu's been very political lately. Oh, I can't even stand this world. He made some posts on one of the social medias the other day. He was, I can't stand the world and how we treat women and men and everything. And it wasn't like particularly...
Sounds like a typical Hawaiian.
He's very...
he's from there.
Yeah, no, he's Hawaiian. But it was just like... It wasn't like... political per se. It wasn't like left or right. It was just like he was, I can't stand the world at all. It's
well,
just
if
like
you notice,
pissed off at everything.
His character is very brooding now.
Yeah, like
John Wick.
John Wick's very good.
It was a good movie.
He's making another one.
I saw it, I think, on Netflix. I saw it after the fact.
I saw it maybe a few weeks after it came out.
I generally enjoyed it.
That was good. Yeah.
Someone killed his dog, essentially.
Yeah, Russian. The guy fucking Grey Worm from Game of Thrones.
Greyjoy, complete asshole.
Yeah.
I guess he could only play a shithead. He could only
play shitty little assholes because he's like a Russian mobster's son, and then John Wick is like a badass, like retired badass.
He's like a mercenary or something.
Retired mercenary, who's like living out his retired days, but like his like wifey or whatever died in an incident.
So the dog was his like memory of the wife.
Like the dog was like the last memory of the wife, and this guy friggin' killed the dog.
No, but the action was solid.
Solid.
His brooding presence was solid.
The whole movie's beast, and like you believe him as like a badass. He's like meeting people through like cops. Like, oh, John Wick. He's like, yeah. Is you back in business? No. Just one night only, like, all right, carry on, because they all know who he is because he's a badass and like nobody fucks with him. I don't know if you saw
the movie Constantine, which is a DC character.
Whoa, Constantine, I'm going to defeat you, demons. No, I didn't see Constantine. I saw pieces of it, actually. It's the chick from The Mummy. What's his name's wife? The chick from The Mummy.
Daniel Craig's wife.
Rachel Weisz. Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
She's hot. Yeah.
I didn't know she was Craig's wife till recently. I think I looked her up.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, they're married.
And they were like, oh, Daniel Craig's wife.
Daniel Craig's wife, James Bond. But they were in that. I didn't see constant. You know what? I started getting out of his movies once the Day the Earth Stood Still came out, and that was a piece of garbage.
That.
Yeah,
I've heard of its shittiness. That's what kind of preempted me from.
That was like I tell you, it's movies like that stop me from going to the theaters for movies that weren't like otherwise epic. Like unless it was like the Avengers or some big movie. I was just like all these middle movies. I was like, no, it's gonna be trash. I'm not gonna watch it. I don't want to waste my time.
Seeing like a blockbuster or some weird art film, where I'm like, well,
yeah,
like you're dragged there from
right and going on a date, like it was only like until the last few years where like I've started giving newer ideas of movies like a chance, where I've looked at them and I'm like, that's probably pretty good. I'll go check it out, like Birdman or something. Like Birdman was very good.
Was awesome.
Yeah, Birdman's great. Like movies like that. Like otherwise, like. It was more like movies like The Day That Earth Stood Still and crap like that. That is like, all right, I'm done here. Or like the Watchmen. I didn't really like that.
Watchmen disappointed me because the book is so groundbreaking. Right. Alan Moore.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people were looking forward to that when it was coming out, and I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really that huge into comics, but like,
I've liked it to some friends. It's often regarded as the best graphic novel of all time.
Yeah, and and
if you read it,
the movie lags.
The novel itself is amazing.
Yeah,
it's super dark. Great character development, and the story just flows. It's great. The perfect example of like their kind of brooding future is Nixon just won his 4th term as president in The Watchmen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you have all this dark stuff going on, and like kind of the end of the world. But
I am not a crook.
I support Nixon.
Sean's a huge Nixon fan. I don't know.
Right wing. I like right wing.
I don't know. Yeah, like of all the people to like, he likes Richard Nixon, the guy who got he had to be resigned. He resigned.
Hey, Hillary spotted on way more people than Nixon did.
I'm not gonna get political
here.
Yeah,
there's another topic for another day.
But Reagan is. I mean, Nixon is just funny.
But on The Watchmen,
you got like a Nixon picture in your room.
I did. I was not in my room.
You had a Nixon
in
poster.
In college, I did have a Nixon portrait. Found at a garage sale, but
that's golden. Oh, how much is that? I'll pay $30 for it.
He's a villain, essentially.
Yeah,
every way. But
I'm not a crook.
People are saying why HBO is doing a Watchmen project.
I heard about
a show. Yeah. I think it's supposed to be the characters before the events of the movie.
Oh. So you should just remake it.
It's still, in development, obviously, but it's signed on. It will be made, and a lot of people are excited about that because HBO usually is a high-quality product.
Yeah, they always spit it. I tell you, the premium channels usually, they haven't really spit out anything too shitty. I mean, every show. Have you watched the show Vinyl at all?
I have not. It had positive reviews, but
the first episode was alright. It was directed by Martin Scorsese. It's about like the 70s record industry and music in general, and like obviously the drugs and everything that go along with it. So it was like watchable. It wasn't great. I haven't watched the 2nd or 3rd episode, but
it had good reviews. I noticed.
What's also good? 11/22/63. It's on Hulu.
I've heard of that as well.
Yeah, it is.
James Franco.
James Franco. I've only seen the first episode, but it was fun. It was essentially he is like a teacher or whatever, and he's got like some friends, and he goes, and his friend is or like the guy at the it's like a diner, and like he's talking to this guy, and he's got like a cough, and then he goes in the back of the store, and he comes out, and he looks terrible, and he's like coughing up blood. He's like, Jesus, what happened to you? Would you get cancer in 3 minutes? And he's like, No, I gotta show you something. Go to the back. And what do you mean? Go to the back. And he goes to like a closet in the back of the diner, and it's like a portal that goes back to 1960.
So what year is this modern time when
It's modern time is now.
Okay.
But in the show, there's a portal. It's just like a sci-fi show.
Is it in a bathroom or?
It's in the back of the diner.
Is there a flux capacitor?
Yeah, it's just like a wormhole kind of that. It's like in the back of the closet, and you go in, and it's the 1960s. He's like, what? And he goes in. He's like, what the hell's going on? And he like turns around, and then like.
So can you walk in and out of the portal, or are you stuck?
Yes, but there's like certain rules. You can walk out in and out, but like the thing is that
because theoretically that's a time travel. It's wrong. Is apparently you can go back in time, but you can't come back. Well, within theory of physics, obviously.
Well, why? So I thought you could only go forward in time. How could you go back? It's already happened. Are we talking about reality or
in the world of physics? But regardless, I don't think it'll ever be fully.
No, I mean,
it's just so above our head.
It's a show.
It's a great concept.
Yeah,
but
like there's like certain rules. It was like no, well, because the long story short is like the guy is on his deathbed. The guy that showed on the portals, who actually was there for 3 years, came back and like he's got like lung cancer. And he's like, you've got to go back and stop the Kennedy assassination. He's like, what do you mean? And you have to stay there for 3 years because the assassination happened in 1963, but the portal takes you back to 1960. 1960. It only takes you back to the same day. So in other words, if you go in and come out and then go back in again, it's the same day. And if
it's a rewind, is not.
Yeah, exactly. Essentially rewind. So essentially, you have to stay there for 3 years for it to happen. Because you got to wait out the 3 years. You have to stay in the 1960s for 3 years to stop the Kennedy assassination because it happens in 3 years. So you have to live in the 1960s until the assassination happens, essentially. And so the guy was like, that was like his deathbed wish. You got to go back and stop it. Blah, blah, blah. So the guy dies, lung cancer. And then, so James Franco does it. And then there's like all certain rules. And he's like, well, what am I going to do for money? So you could place bets. And like the first one, he places like a wager in like a shady bar for like $100 back in 1960.
Yeah, that's some money.
Which is like, which is like thousands of dollars. And he wins the bet. It was like 32-1 odds.
Probably like, who is this guy?
Yeah, exactly. So that pretty much happened. So I won't spoil anymore.
It's kind of outside the law.
Of course, yeah. So
you don't technically have to pay. You can't go to the cops. Hey.
So this outsider, and like, so he wins. Looks like you won, and they give him like a huge stack of cash, and they'll like follow him outside, and he's gotta like disappear in his car that he just bought, and it's like all the stuff, and then they follow him to his.
Sounds interesting.
It's interesting.
I don't have access to the Amazon.
It's Hulu, not Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, Hulu. But so that was that's good. So that's some good media out, and then we're waiting for Game of Thrones too. Waiting Game of Thrones.
It's weird they think the lung cancer. It reminds you of the X-Men with the smoking man.
Yeah, the cigarette smoking man. Oh, the X-Files.
X-Files.
That's
yes.
great.
And,
you want to talk about the X-Files reboot?
Yeah. I finished watching. There's 6 episodes, and how they ended it. Gosh, I'm not gonna do spoilers. It's clearly
we'll do spoilers next week.
It's clearly a setup
to another season.
Absolutely.
I didn't see the last episode. I saw the first couple. I loved the first episode. I really did. They brought in real world like pseudoscientific ideas, like the whole thing about the onipentium, like that's like a real pseudoscientific idea. Like I don't know if anybody ever knows about like the Area 51 conspiracy and Bob Lazar. You know about Bob Lazar, right?
Of course.
Yeah, well, Bob Lazar was a guy that in the late 80s and 90s, he said he worked at Area 51 Groom Lake S4, which was where they were back engineering spaceships, aircrafts that they said were alien in nature, and that they were powered by element 151, which is unipentium, which at the time did not exist.
They believe also,
and now it exists.
They believe also that a lot of this stuff they are reverse engineering, they did stem from the Roswell incident.
Yeah.
Which, to this day, the government's like classified.
Sure.
Oh, weather balloons nonsense.
Yeah, weather balloons, right? But the thing is that Bob Lazar, now he had some paperwork that said that he was actually worked there. He had a W-2 or whatever that showed that he did work at Area 51, Nevada, whatever, and all this stuff. So like he had some stuff to corroborate it. He had some like physics knowledge. Like nobody could really find any on paper. He said he went to a few colleges and stuff. No, well, where's your degree? You're not on the registrar or whatever. And like he was like, no, I am, and he showed like a degree, and people were saying no, it's bullshit. But long story short,
it's very easy for the government to expunge your record.
Right. He said he was getting threatened and stuff, and he obviously was classified to begin with, that he wasn't supposed to say any of this stuff. Now,
if you have these clearances and you kind of look at Snowden, he's hiding.
Yeah, Snowden can't come back,
But I'm not a pro Snowden guy by any means.
Why not? Listen, the guy for
challenging, national
powers
interest.
that you. Yeah, but that being said, I mean,
American safety as a whole also.
Is he though?
He's
Because
jeopardizing government.
But he's at least letting us know our freedoms are in jeopardy. I mean, at what point does your
but then you could also be
security
like, hey, Chinese, let's hear all our shit.
Yeah, but they when they're reading and listening to normal people's stuff, like at what point? And everybody's like, yeah, well, what are they going to listen to me anyway? Until one day when they pass another thing like the Freedom Act, and it's like, oh, you were talking about this? That's against the rules. You're under arrest, sir.
Okay, we're going to keep going into political stuff.
Yeah, no, we keep delving
right and left we're pretty far from me.
But yeah, Unipentium. So in other words, Element 151, he had said in the 90s that this will exist, and it didn't at the time, and now it exists, and it's called Unipentium. So he knew that this element was the next one to be discovered, and
it's completely fascinating.
So that is interesting, and then they did delve into those pseudoscientific ideas in the first episode, and they showed they had a spaceship in the first episode, and it had a cloaking shield and then they blew it up. That was all really fun, and then they did some Roswell stuff. So I really enjoyed the first episode. Second and third were typical kind of forgettable X-Files episodes. There was one freak.
Fourth one was good.
I didn't even get up to
the
that.
old ones.
Yeah.
So essentially, there's this
it was getting campy in the middle episodes.
Garbage kind of character killing they're targeting the homeless in Philadelphia.
Yeah, was that the one that looked like a
It's Trash Man. It was called.
Oh, was it? I seen. I don't know if it was the second episode. It looked like it was kind of like a lizard man or something.
No, that one was terrible.
That was those. It was so campy. I was like, really?
That was the worst one of the series.
This is one of those campy late season episodes in the 90s where it was all right, I'm tuning out. Because the first couple of seasons of X-Files were phenomenal.
It was groundbreaking for its time.
Early
92,
90s. Especially there was a big obsession at that time period about aliens in Area 51, and the movie Independence Day came out.
So
there was a big obsession at that time period about all that.
Quality for the time. There's a lot of crappy shows at that time.
Yes. Crappy hour shows.
It was very ahead of its time.
And it was a well-made show.
For the quality, what it was worth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I was glad that they got
I was
resurrected.
a huge fan of that show in the 90s.
And I want to see more of it. And Fox said it. It wasn't massive hit now, but it made enough.
Yeah, but
they're going to continue.
Might as well. I mean, you only did 6 episodes. Do another 6. Better yet, do 10 or 12.
It was a trial run.
It was a trial run, yeah. And, why not? Keep going with it.
They age fairly well.
They age great. They both look great. She looks great. He looks good. They look great.
And
it's been,
he's another character within himself.
Yeah, he is. This is for Californication. He's practically that guy, the sex addict in real life.
Yeah, they said he had something like $2,000 a month porn. Just pornography.
Yeah. Was it only $2,000 a month? I thought it was $2,000 a week. I thought it was an insane amount. He was just spending money on HD porn. Or couldn't stop.
He's always a likable guy, though.
He's married to Tia Leone. Yeah, he's great on Californication. He was great on the X-Files. He's
Those
great.
Are his roles, essentially.
What about in Zoolander when he's like...
Oh, you're J.D. Pruitt.
yeah.
Because he has his cryogenic frozen hand.
Yeah.
You're J.D. Pruitt, the hand model.
He's got his hand in the thing.
That's a brilliant cameo.
That's great cameo.
That's a brilliant cameo.
And he's like, but why models? And he's like, you serious? I just told you. It's great.
He shows up in the graveyard.
The movie. Yeah.
And then he drops the flashlight.
Yeah. That's a funny scene. Did you see Zoolander 2?
I did not.
I heard it was a disaster.
I would like to see it.
I might peep it on the internet. I don't think I'm going to be.
They said the beginning's very great, and then it just.
I heard it was a wreck. I heard it was a nose. The whole thing was a crash and burn disaster. But I mean, I'll take my own opinion, and when I see it, I'll mention it. But I didn't hear good things. I mean, how could you make the first one? Is another one of those things, and the first one isn't very well made anyway. It's kind of it was just goofy idiots, them being stupid.
They said the problem with Zoolander was when it came out was right after 9/11.
Yes. That's exactly why it didn't get any response in theaters money wise, but became a cult hit because it was funny.
Because people are like, oh, death and terrorism, and let's watch a comedy,
a stupid, silly Sandler comedy, or not Sandler.
No. That's why it was good. Adam Sandler is.
Gatorades, bitch! Oh, his movies have become a scam.
I don't know how he still gets jobs.
Scam, because they make money. Because idiots go.
Who is thoroughly searching Adam Sandler?
He's got a following, and he commands a huge paycheck for this bullshit.
9-year-olds.
Did you see Pixels? Pixels wasn't good. Pixels could have been good, and it was just them not caring, of course.
We have an affinity for retro classic arcades, especially Donkey Kong.
Of course. I mean, we go to Barcade so frequently in Manhattan.
But
that movie could have been
interesting. But
it could have been
another one. His buddy Paul Blart Mall Cop. He just makes shit fucking
another
movies.
wreck, you know, Kevin Smith. Kevin James. I call him Kevin Smith. Kevin James.
I have respect for him.
No, of course I love Kevin Smith, but Kevin James.
Yeah,
and the rest of his little cronies, his whole little crowd of
Rob Schneider.
Yeah, his co-conspirators. They're a bunch of
just an awful assortment, yeah.
They're an awful assortment of hacks getting these fat paychecks for being in these stupid movies because he commands huge salaries.
How did Paul Blart get a sequel?
Because they make money.
This movie was
make
so
money.
good. I'm gonna make another one.
What about the Zookeeper? You know, garbage, straight garbage, one after another, just garbage. But people watch. People, it's gonna be funny, and date night, and people go watch them. I don't know, normal, regular people, and they just go watch them. They think they're gonna get a
question.
Laugh.
They're regular.
He's riding on the coattails of 3 funny movies. You know, like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, maybe Big Daddy, which I wasn't even a big fan of.
No, me either.
Yeah, and and then what after that? Little Nicky. I mean, I like that movie because I first saw it when I was 11 years old. You know, if I saw it today, I would fucking throw up in my mouth. You know, the disasters. But yeah, this is the kind of caliber of schlock that you got going on today, and it's unfortunate.
Well, now they're reverting to Netflix, straight to Netflix movies.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Ridiculous 6 was the last one that came out. I heard it was a wreck. It was a wreck. In fact,
apparently it was the most watched Netflix original feature.
This is my point. This is what I'm saying. Why is this garbage getting so much
Netflix
attention?
Netflix has come out with some quality over the years.
It has.
They're learning their stuff.
And that's why cord cutting is happening. You know, I don't know if you have Disney stock, that shit keeps going down because ESPN.
Literally the most watched feature on Netflix ever.
Yeah. Crazy.
The reviews
and there's so many movies on Netflix that you figure people watch again and again and again. Terminator 2.
I want to watch Adam Sandler as a cowboy. That's what I want to watch.
There's a great video going around the internet. You can find it that when they were filming it, they had a lot of Native Americans on. They're making, of course, all these racist jokes to Native Americans, and these Native Americans.
It's not highbrow. It's not
lowbrow. Fucking racist jokes, and these Native Americans were getting pissed off. They were like,
"Are they on set?"
They were on set. What happened was, Adam Sandler's away. He's in his trailer or whatever, you know. And then they're with the producer, and these guys are all getting pissed off. They're like, "We don't like this joke," and they were like, "Yeah, this is completely."
What, you don't let me call the drunk savage?
Yeah, it's funny because these are they're smart people, and they're just getting they're reading this shit that they have to do, and they're like, "We don't want to do this. We thought we're gonna just what is this? You know, we're not getting paid to do this shit." And they were all a whole group of them talking to the producer, and the producer, "No, it's okay." And they were like, "It's not okay." They were like, "This is terribly insulting." And they were like, and then one of them even said, they were like, "Well, Adam Sandler wouldn't make fun of his own people," and somebody was like, "Yeah, he doesn't make fun of the Jews." And these Native American people are and they got good points, and the producer was like, "No, don't worry, it's going to be decent." They were like, "It's not going to be decent. We know how you edit these things," and they were making all these good points. The producer had nothing to say.
He did make that Israeli movie, Zohan or whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, he does.
Which was for his shit movies, it was mildly watched.
Don't mess with the Zohan. Oh no, I seen bits and pieces when it came out, but I couldn't watch it in its entirety. But wasn't that Don't Mess with the Zohan? Wasn't that? Am I thinking of Mike Myers? Wasn't that Mike Myers?
That was the Glove Guru. Which
excuse me.
I don't think his career's ever bounced back from that.
No, that was how bad of a wreck that was. You know, he should make another sequel. He should do a fourth. He
made an appearance in Inglourious Bastards. He was a Nazi commander.
Oh, yeah? Oh, he could probably do drama pretty well.
But I feel like his career from that movie
other than his big Shrek paychecks, right?
Well, he's also known for the Austin Powers role, of course.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He should just go ahead and make a fourth Austin Powers. Just do it before you're too old.
You get, what was that British bombshell's name? She's old now. I'm sure you got her back in
not Elizabeth Hurley.
Elizabeth Hurley.
Elizabeth Hurley?
She was in the first one.
Yeah, she's hot.
There's rumors that
what did they say? She
Bill
died?
Clinton. No, she's alive.
Is there rumors of that? They do have pictures of them together.
I don't sleaze, and she was super hot in the 90s.
She's gorgeous.
I mean, she's attractive now, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I see pictures of her recently. She still looks great. And she's 50. I'll pull up a picture right here. But and I'll put it on the Retrocade podcast page if we find it. But Elizabeth Hurley, 2015.
Sure, there's plastic surgery all over that.
Sure, but oh my god, bro, she's 50 years old. Is the first article. Elizabeth Hurley, 50, shows off insane bikini body.
There you go. Of course, Mr. Clinton was all over that.
Look at her. She looks great.
Oh, phenomenal.
She looks amazing. She's 50. And, yeah, so that's crazy. And, shows goes to show. But even if you didn't bring her, just do the fourth when everybody does a sequel 20 years later. Look at all these movies that are doing it, you know.
Heather Graham, you could have her. You could have a bunch of cameos.
You could put anybody, you know. The last one they put...
Seth Green, who's funny.
Yeah, Seth Green, he's still working. Oh, this is the Entertainment Tonight article.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, she looks amazing.
You haven't really seen much of Seth. I know he was doing the Robot Chicken.
Which I believe they still do.
I loved it in high school.
Yeah,
when I was in that sort of blazing Adult Swim era of my life.
Yeah, just being a freaking stoner bum.
When I was watching, Aqua Teen and all that crap.
Hunger Force. Sure. I mean, that was doing the same shit. You know what?
Fucking 7 years.
The only time I put it on is if I see maybe I don't know. Well, Family Guy's on late. Then I'll have Robot Chicken.
I can't watch Family Guy.
Oh, I still watch Family Guy. And the new seasons aren't new.
I watched them. Yeah.
I know it's fell down a bit.
I have a soft spot for South Park. If I'm gonna, but it's satire. Yeah. Family Guy's just nonsense.
Yeah, South Park will dwell on whatever's happening.
I'm excited for the new season the next season.
Coming up, yeah.
Because they're going to be going all over Sanders, Trump.
No, they are. But that's the problem now. Social media, that's all you hear. Like, I don't know if it's different for kids. You know, like, we're adults now, closer to 30. So everything on my Facebook feed is Clinton, Trump, Sanders, and Rubio and Cruz. And it's like nothing else. Like, literally, is it different for teenagers? Do they see that too?
There's no middle ground. It's either I love Sanders, I'm a college student, or I love Trump and I'm right-wing nationalist.
America, yeah. So, well, the difference is that they are...
You don't see too many Hillary supporters. It's either Trump... It's all the drastic...
people don't want Hillary.
It's the drastic candidates.
Yeah. It's because people want change, and they know Hillary is the same old shit. But the thing is that they're opposite responses to the same problem, which is like... You know, people like jobs and shitty wages, like people having to struggle and work 60 hours a week. Like people are struggling, and they're opposite responses. You know, Trump says it's the Mexicans and the Muslims. Bernie says it's the rich people. And Hillary just says, "Let me get a paycheck."
Hillary just says what you want to hear, and then
and then doesn't do it.
Her employees are shredding documents, and burning servers,
shedding her emails, and like getting fat checks from like Goldman Sachs.
Well, the FBI is like, "Hey, we're investigating for felonies."
Yeah.
No, that's not relevant.
No, that's not relevant. Shred these felonies. Shred these.
Help you.
Yeah, I'm gonna help the American people. 9/11, 9/11, 9/11. Yeah.
But again, we keep going back into politics.
Well, I mean, it's so topical right now, so it's hard to avoid it. Absolutely. And especially, when it does, envelop everything that you do when you go on social media, I'm sure, if anybody here is in their mid-20s, that they see the same stuff, and they're probably sick of it too. I mean, like, hell, I'm kind of into politics, and I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it. I can't wait till the shit.
There's a bombardment, for sure.
I don't even care. Yeah, totally getting bombarded for it. But that's why, we do things like this to get off, alleviate the pain of reality. And
your commute easier.
Yeah, man. Friggin' listen to us instead of having to listen to millionaires and billionaires, and I'm going to stab Mexicans, and I don't even like the Jews, to be honest.
Listen, nationalism's good in my opinion. We need more of it. And if you have to target certain ethnic groups...
No, you cannot do that, Sean. All right, you got to target certain...
All right, so anyway, there's some interesting news... that they said Batman vs. Superman, as well as Civil War, both probably the biggest, arguably, blockbusters coming out for the summer.
Absolutely.
I mean, about 2.5 hour run times.
Yeah, that's
it's pretty substantial.
That is big. Now, So, what are we working with here? Now, are these going to be big, drawn out, long story arcs for all these characters? Because you got a whole cavalcade of characters in these movies so far. You're going to have Batman. You're going to have Superman. You're going to have Wonder Woman. You're going to have Lex Luthor. You're going to have, what's the other guy that they're fighting?
I believe it's Doomsday, if I'm correct.
Doomsday? Yeah. So, Doomsday. And I even heard that even somebody else said that they might be throwing in...
No, so they said there's imagery of Darkseid.
Darkseid.
He's not going to be in the movie, but they might... Do a little setup where he makes a 2-second cameo, or he's talking to one of the goons.
Maybe an after credit scene for part 2.
I feel he's going to be more into like a Justice League kind of guy, because he's such a huge villain.
Right, he's a huge villain.
Batman, I remember would never fight Darkseid.
He would get lasered in a second. But like he was, I remember in the TV show, I don't know if you watched the Superman, the Batman, the animated series.
They came together. It was one after the other. So Batman is what I look forward to.
Yeah, and then Superman you'd watch.
I'd watch.
You'd watch if it was on.
I'd go out play with my friends.
Exactly.
But I would watch.
But I have the whole series of Batman the Animated Series on.
It's the best.
Saved. I mean, but
I love the intro.
Yeah. In fact, they weren't originally going to use because that's pretty much the Danny Elfman theme from the movie. You know, they weren't originally going to use it. They were going to pull up a new one. But somebody, I don't know, one of the producers, like, no, you got to use the Danny Elfman. You know, they switched it up.
I love it that it's.
But it was very cinematic.
It
was very dark.
Also in it's an old school vibe.
It's Art Deco. It's 1920s Art Deco style, which is great. You know, I always.
It's the
cars are big and wide in 1920s. All the architecture is gothic and gargoyles.
Technology is very minimal. Batman has that technology, but it's still very minimal.
Batman, he's not using too many computers or anything.
He's
more
just
detectives,
exactly. The hats and
gritty.
The coats.
The style is very 1920s Art Deco. Yeah, and it's great.
It's groundbreaking. Awesome.
Very dark. It was one of those first gritty dark.
Anyone in their
cartoons.
late 20s that likes anything disrespectable. They all watched the Batman animation.
Sure. Nah, that shit was awesome.
They started re-releasing the action figures from the show.
Yes, I had a few.
No, they really
fancy
kind
of
like the Black Series.
Yeah, Black Series of Star Wars.
So they made it for. I bought the Joker one because I'm obviously a big Joker.
Of course, the Mark Hamill, sure.
But
my good friend.
They came out with the Batmobile. It's like $100.
Yeah.
We have some money, but I'm not wasting $100 on a Batmobile.
You get a picture of it.
It's just a stupid purchase, but it looks awesome. Like the quality of the toys now, they're made for people that watched when they were kids.
Yeah, they remade them.
If you look at the quality of toys now compared to figuratively when we were buying toys,
the Batman the Animated Series 6-inch action figures. Okay, so they're 6-inch guys.
Yeah, they're awesome though.
They look great. They look
very detailed.
Very detailed.
Coloring. The
colors are beautiful. Looks just like the show. You know, the Joker looks great.
And the thing is too,
Robin's shit is really.
I remember getting toys when I would play with them and such. An action figure would cost $5 at Toys R Us. Oh yeah. These things now are costing $25 per figure. No.
Well, they're catering. This is targeted at the rich, the man-child with disposable income, which is what we are.
What I'm saying is,
they know we're hanging on to our nostalgia. We're
10-year-olds. Hey, Mom, I want a toy.
I know.
You think Mom's buying her 20?
I know.
Let's say you want to buy 3 figures.
I know.
You're going to spend $75 on 3 figures?
It was funny because you're right. Because, I mean, when you buy a Star Wars figure in 1995, they were $4.99.
So, all right.
Now you go in, those same figures are like $9.99 to $11.99.
You know, when I bought toys at 9 years old, here's $20, buy 4 action figures, and you'd be very content.
Yeah, that's good. I remember one time
4 action figures now in the range of $50 to $60.
Sure, I remember when the green-backed Star Wars figures came out, like '97. The greenbacks just came out, and I remember I was like, oh my god,
this is the Power of the Force series.
Power of the Force, the greenback Power of the Force. They were like the second wave of Power of the Force because it came out with the reds, the red-backed. And that was the very first level, and then they came out with the next wave. They were green-backed. They had like a green lightsaber going through it. Or they were red or orange was the first. What was it? Orange or red?
Orange.
It's like orangey red.
It's based off red, but it was an orange color to my
but next was green, and that was when a new wave of figures came out. I remember the first time I saw this.
Because the red was the New Hope figures.
Yes, and then they started branching them off. I remember seeing the Ugnaughts, a few others, and I was like, "What?"
Hammerhead was one of them.
Hammerhead, I had him. I still have him, and this was the first time you'd seen all these additional characters that you hadn't gotten already. So I remember, like you said, I think got $20, and I bought maybe 3 or 4 of them. You know, and like that was content.
What I remember is you had to call the store up.
Yeah.
What are you getting? Shit.
Yeah, what do you got? Oh, we have this.
It'd be like Emperors and Red Guards. Those would be like the commodities.
Yeah. What? Especially the Red Guards, because you need a couple of the Red Guards.
But the toys now, what I'm getting at is they're not for kids. They're for
adults. They're for man-children. They're collector's items. That's where the margins are.
6-figure incomes that. I like Star Wars. I'm going to buy $30 action figures that are super detailed.
I did that 2 summers ago.
They're not meant to be open.
No, they're collector's items. Like that's what happened to me. I was feeling nostalgic. I'm on eBay, and of course, in one summer, I spent almost $2,000 on Star Wars figures. You know, It's like it happens. I have a friend that's doing that now with Legos. I'm pretty sure he's upwards of $3,000 in Legos.
I actually spoke to him. He showed me some pictures.
Yeah, he's got a great collection of Legos.
Fully immersed.
I mean, he's got a whole room. It's like a museum now full of Lego sets, the collector's sets. You know, all the Star Wars ones.
You know, you played as a kid.
Yeah, but obviously as a kid you couldn't have all the ones that you wanted, but now you can.
Those days,
it's true because now you got the bucks and you can, and that's how it goes. Like, look at me. Like, I have 2 AT-AT walkers sitting up here. I never had 2 as a kid. You couldn't have 2. But you
fucking one.
Right, but you kind of wanted to because, well, the Empire just doesn't have one AT-AT walker, you know? And look at all the ATSTs. You don't just have one ATST. You need a bunch because the Empire has a bunch. Or like 20 stormtroopers.
My Star Wars vehicles are very weak. I had like a land speeder.
I didn't have a lot. I had I'm not going to say a lot. I had a decent amount. I had the Falcon, I had the AT-AT, and I had a TIE fighter. Or I had Darth Vader's TIE
Turtles, fighter. I had Technodrome.
Okay. You had the big dome thing?
The eyeball on the top.
Yeah.
I had the van. I had
the
sewer set.
Yeah, those were what I remember.
Ghostbusters house.
Oh, yeah. I had the Ghostbusters house and the car.
But Star Wars, I never got really... They were expensive. Because they were... Of course, you had no money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these were all
it's like, could I get 5 figures? Or maybe 1 vehicle.
Yeah. It was one or the other. But you see, usually it was like the AT-AT was a Christmas gift, you know, like type of thing. You get AT-AT for Christmas, a Falcon.
Those were like $70, $80.
Yeah, at least.
90s.
I think I'm pretty sure when the AT-AT came out, when they released it in the 90s, it was about anywhere from 80 to 100. It came with 2 figures in it. But I had the Falcon. The Falcon came out first. That Falcon came out in 95.
You see now, too, it's popular amongst the kids. There's Amiibos and Disney Infinities.
All those things type of thing, yeah.
So they're basically video game, and you get this little fucking...
I mean, even kids as young as... I have my nephews and nieces, they're all... one of them is... The boy is 3. The girl, I think, is now 5. I mean, they use iPads, you know? These kids, half the time, they're toying with iPads. You know, the other part, they use toys, but like...
I got my black and white Game Boy. I
know.
Best thing
I know.
Ever.
I had the Game Boy Color, which wasn't even really color.
I had the Game Boy Pocket. Was the first system.
That was the Game Boy Pocket. The smaller one. Yeah. That was actually...
Was green,
it was just the smaller, big Game Boy.
It wasn't the giant gray one.
The giant gray one.
Batteries.
The only person I remember that had it, or still has it, is the kid with the Legos that we were just referring to. He had it.
I remember Uncle had it. And he would visit and I would play it.
Because that was really early 90s and 80s, really. I had Game Gear, too. I had... because I remember Game Boy came out, the big gray one. Then Game Boy Pocket came out, which was just the same thing, but smaller.
Pocket came out after Game Gear. Pocket came out in 95, I want to say 96.
Well, Game Gear came out around that time, right?
Game Gear was like 92, 93.
Well, I had Game Gear, but Game Gear was color.
The problem with Game Gear was you need 6 batteries.
Yeah, 3 on each side. Yep.
The battery life would last about 3 to 4 hours.
It was good for a car ride.
And
that's what I used it for a lot.
Games were pretty weak.
No, you know what? It's not that they were pretty weak.
It didn't compare to Game Boy's.
That's the
assortment.
Thing. The Game Boy had a great collection. They had a great library.
I remember the Sonic that it came with, the system.
The Sonic
was the hardest fucking game.
Those games were great for it. I also played Batman the movie. I think it was Batman Returns for it was great. Those games were really good. They were almost as good quality as Sega. That's how good they were, and they were color.
Well, compare to Game Boy. But Game Boy had classic
But Game Boy
arsenal.
had such good library. Zelda and the Marios, and of course Mega Man, of course, and then Pokemon
was
99.
Way after Game
Gear. 98.
I don't even think Game Gear was made when Pokemon came.
Well, see, I had Game Gear for a few years, and then I didn't have a Game Boy until Pokemon. Because I didn't have Game Boy or Game Boy Color. Oh, no, I mean Pocket Game Boy, because it was just, it was color. It would always confuse me, because I was like, wait, are they color? Because they were colorful. But no, it was just the same thing without the color. And then
came out for the gold and silver version.
Yeah.
Because original Pokemon was black and white, and it came out in 96 in Japan.
But wait.
98
But
I
had Game Boy Color, and my Pokemon was kind of colored. I mean, it wasn't really.
Blue, red, yellow was not.
They had some color to them, definitely.
No, it was black and white. Guaranteed. 100%.
Let's look that up.
I believe gold and silver were the first colored version. I don't
know if I'm gonna be able to find it right away on the internet, but
I
remember like the shitty light color of
blue and red was black and white 1000%. I believe yellow was as well. Yellow, I'm on the fence about it.
Well, they had it for Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
Color could play black and white games.
Yeah, but they weren't black and white though. They had some tint. They had like some tint to it.
But it wasn't the game. You could change the light fixtures essentially, so darker or lighter. But
what? Look. I mean, is this color to you in this picture right here? That's how I remember it. It's like the Bulbas. I mean, the Charmander looks red and the Bulbasaur look green. That's looks.
It wasn't colorized. It was tints, but it wasn't colorized.
I don't know. I mean, I don't remember it being straight up black and white. I had Game Boy Color.
On the topic of Pokemon, they just announced the Moon and Sun version.
Yes.
So this would be Gen 7? It might be Gen 7. 7th gen of games.
Obviously, yeah.
I've actually played XY. You've kind of.
I haven't really done anything Pokemon in the regards to games since.
I didn't play the Sapphire.
Gold and Silver. Really, I had Gold and Silver. So somebody stole my shit, and that was it. That was like 90, and that was in 2000 maybe too.
I played XY, and honestly, awesome. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tried and true system with the start all gym.
Yeah, you can't.
Elite Four, Victory.
It is tried and true, and it always gives you. You know, you get what you
factor of like battling people with like, especially. I was a soft spot for the original 151.
Naturally.
Because there's so many fucking Pokemon
freak
now.
Pokemon now.
I think it's in the 600 range.
Oh my Jesus!
I'll do an exact lookup right now.
Yeah, there's so many Pokemon. Oh, you had to keep pulling out new. We need more Pokemon. Keep creating them out.
There's some ones that are just fucking stupid. There's like an ice cream cone Pokemon. It looks like a fucking ice cream.
Yeah, well, they got it. You figure they have people just belting them out. We'll make this. Sure. Will it profit us? Absolutely. You know, I'm sure they got that going on all day.
Well, what also looks pretty interesting is that it's pretty new. It didn't come out just yet, but it's coming out very soon.
What's that?
Pokemon Tournament. Where it's a fighting Pokemon. Kind of like a Street Fighter kind of.
Oh, sounds
It's based
sexy.
on a Tekken style.
Wait, so it's not.
So you play as a Pokemon
and you
fighting.
kick and punch. Okay, that's cool. Well, it's kind of like how Pokemon was. I would assume special moves, like for like Charizard, would be like throwing flames out of his mouth and Pikachu lightning and shit, which is essentially what Pokemon is anyway. You know, they're just
but
using.
You're actually playing as the Pokemon itself,
not
the trainer.
Not the trainer, just RPGing,
okay,
telling them what Thundershock.
Right now, I'm actually with the 600 Rangers of Lobo. So
how many is it?
722 revealed species of Pokemon.
That's a lot of species right there.
Which we were at 151. And there's 252 or something at Gold
and Silver. Yeah, they kept belting them out.
So you're at almost 500.
How do you catch all those? What about with Pokemon Go? Is that getting delayed? I thought I read something that was getting a little delayed.
I mean, the amount of fucking money they're gonna make, they're gonna polish that thing to.
Yeah, they better polish it golden.
I'm even interested in doing it. I wouldn't walk around.
Yeah, check it out.
I wouldn't go to work.
So it's on the app, right? Oh no, it's a wristwatch. What is it?
I think it's like a wristwatch that works with your phone.
Like a Bluetooth wristwatch.
But I'm not walking around and work with fucking
Pokemon Watch.
Oh,
Sean, what are you wearing there?
Are you a fucking
come into the office, please? I gotta be honest. We gotta let you go.
Fucking pathetic.
We just can't have Pokemon nerds here at our establishment.
Yeah, you just sorry.
And quite frankly, don't ever fucking come back.
Wait, is that a Pokemon watch? You're terminated.
Yeah, we gotta let you go. We can't have children in our facility.
You can't wear it anywhere.
Yeah, you really wear it to the bar. What the fuck is that on your wrist, you scumbag?
If you want to have
no
job
girl.
or ever get laid again, but if you want to wear it like with your socks and your shoe, like a wristband, one of those things the police you wear, like those.
Yes, yeah.
You want to wear it discreetly.
You gotta wear a wristwatch on your ankle. My ankle bracelet's beeping. Beep beep beep.
Oh, done. Oh, and you look at it, it's like Wild Zapdos.
Wild Zapdos in the area. Oh, hold up, yo! I gotta catch this.
So where'd you go? No, I had to take care of something.
Yo, I had to go in the back and catch that Zapdos. Sean, you're terminated. Sean's been taking breaks, catching Pokemon in the backyard.
So as long as you don't want to jeopardize your
social
career
or career status, or any of those,
that's pretty cool.
It'd be golden. Yeah,
just do it very discreetly.
Well, anybody over the age of 20, be discreet about it.
But the funny thing is, 2/3 of the buyers are going to be people in their fucking 25-30 range that are going to be buying this thing.
Is it going to be expensive? Kids will wear it. Come on,
it's gonna be
Pokemon's still popular with the kids, and these kids love their smartphones.
It's going to be those quintessential free to play.
Yeah.
You want a Master Ball? That's $5.
Of course. Master Ball's $5. You're gonna need to catch that Zapdos.
Use your credit card. It's $5. Oh, cool.
You won't even need. You buy it from the App Store.
Credit card.
Yeah, and then you just fucking charge up Mad Master Balls.
I'll
get great balls. They're only $2, and that's why my dad won't know.
Your dad's like gets his bill. He spent $500.
$700 on Master Balls. What the hell is a great ball?
No, but Dad, I got an Arcanine. Look.
What the hell is rare candy? Are you using that rare candy again? You better not be on that rare candy.
Well, Dad, you want to see my meal? Get out.
Yeah, get out, you. You're not my son.
Spend $600 on rare candies. Piece of shit. Level up the old school way, like when I was a kid. Beats him. But, all right, so that should be fun. All right, we're running low on time here, so let's go to the next and one of our, I guess, final topics of the day, which is the new and improved, or is it, Ghostbusters remake, rehash, reboot, garbage, trailer. Sean, what do you think? Did you see it? Did you like it? What are your ideas on it?
Very beginning, ultra disappointed, skeptical.
These are all the
feminist Ghostbusters
the thoughts that are coming through your head. You are fucking so not PC. Listen, honestly, what is your opinion?
For our Hillary Clinton listeners, do you want to support?
No, I'm not. I'm not trying to
lesbian feminist movement.
I'm not trying to pander to anyone here.
Lesbians.
I am
I'm
giving my
saying this is a
God's honest opinion on everything
feminist, bra burning Ghostbusters rendition.
Listen, we've mentioned this bore.
Your Susan B. Anthony fucking rendition.
He's been drinking. He's been drinking. Do you have you?
Not.
Do you think that the all-female cast is a gimmick? We've said it before. I want to ask you once more now that you've seen the trailer.
Okay. Mixed feelings.
Yeah.
So, I think essentially the lack of kind of Bill Murray and others to be fully integrated. Secondly,
that's out the door.
They're also too old. I mean,
the original guys.
Egon's deceased.
Yeah, no. If they were gonna make a third Ghostbusters with the guys, should have did it already. Bill Murray didn't want to do it.
Should have 15 years ago. 2005.
2000 would have been fine. They just waited too long, and now, of course, one of them died. But that being said, Ghostbusters dies with them. But there's money to be made, and Sony owns the property. Is it Sony? Sony owns it. I don't know who owns it.
Yes.
Or
yes.
Sony, Columbia Pictures. Columbia is maybe distributing it.
In the preview, Sony and Columbia.
Yes, Columbia is probably distributing it.
Sony probably has the media rights, Columbia the movie.
Yeah, exactly. And that being said, all right, we're going to make money off this property. Okay. The original guy, I hear they have cameos. I hear Bill Murray has a cameo, but it's a... Dan Aykroyd, he might. I think Bill Murray has a cameo.
Ray Stantz very likable character.
Yeah.
He was very humble.
He's a nut in real life, though. He's a Canadian nut. He's aliens and spaceships.
Really?
Oh, mad big with this paranormal and supernatural. Sure. He is a big nut. So you think
he actually became Ray Stantz in real life?
Kinda, yeah. He was on CNN one night, and he was going crazy about 27 races of aliens are coming here.
So what?
I swear to God. I'll throw a link up. It's funny. Yeah, he's on Larry King doing it. And
Larry King had a lot of nuts come on.
Oh, sure. And Larry King would always be so candid with them, like, so you think you're a nut? And he would just go outright and say it to them. You know, I remember he's had so many people go so crazy on the show. Marlon Brando, he hadn't go nuts on the show. Trump was on the show, and Trump was even saying, "Excuse me, can you move away from me? Your bad breath is disgusting me." He said that to him on the show. You can watch on YouTube.
He definitely was. Oh, he was working. I mean, he's still alive, which is good.
Sure, he's done doing the show.
But he was so old, and I could see him being pungent, just not caring.
Yeah, just an old pungent old man stench. Yeah, it definitely has some old man stench.
He worked way past his prime.
Sure, but he might have worked past his prime, but he's
staple.
Yeah, but he got the job done. I mean,
what's interesting about him was he actually filmed the new footage for the O.J. Simpson show.
Oh yeah.
American.
I haven't watched any
American
of that.
Crime Story.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of that.
So they
they found the bloody knife in his backyard.
They did.
Yeah.
So they filmed new footage for the show, but with Larry King was doing all over the interviews in the early 90s.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But they had the fake, actor playing. Larry King is in the show as himself, interviewing as it was. Yeah, I mean, powder on the makeup, probably a little CGI. Who knows?
Right.
I'm sure he doesn't look great, but he was in the show acting as himself, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, did he look like he's old?
Well, he always had the look. He almost looked like he looked like a Stanley, suspenders, glasses.
Yeah, just like an old
kind of old Jewish guy,
an old timer. Yeah, exactly. And but to get back to the point, and he was even had a cameo in the original Ghostbusters. He
really, I don't remember.
In the montage when they do showing the media, they have Casey Kasem, hey, Casey Kasem with the Ghostbusters, and now here, and then in one scene they're and then Larry King's like, some people are thinking that there's all this supernatural stuff happening that these guys are the cause of it all.
It's funny how iconic both their voices are.
Yeah,
Casey
radio host.
It's funny how bad too his family was fighting over his
estate. Yeah, right.
While he was alive.
Yeah. They were fighting.
He died recently last
year.
Right,
but he was cooped to last few years though. He was out of it.
He was like vegetable machine.
But they were fighting over his bucks and his rights.
It was
and
his ex-wife and his daughter.
It
was a complete disaster.
Always is. But back to the point here. What do you got high hopes? What'd you think of the trailer?
All right, so even before I saw the trailer, the amount of negativity was outstanding.
Oh, it's brutal. It's got so many downvotes. The YouTube video, I think it's got 23 million views right now, and it's got
200,000 thumbs down.
It's over that. It's like 250,000, and it's like 70% of them are thumbs down. And then all the comments are just wretched. Who are you gonna call? Someone else. And it's just like wretched,
these hoes. Astounding. You know what it is you are damaging, testing someone's childhood, someone's memories of fondness of such an established franchise. How dare you make it female? Oh, shit.
Well, that's it. You have so many people that are like, this is an abomination to my childhood. Kind of like the Star Wars prequels thing. George Lucas, they're raping my childhood. And, I don't really feel that way right now.
So when I first heard it, I was disappointed. Not that I'm not anti-woman by any means, but
nah, you're a real nice guy.
Of course I am, but
of course I am.
I was just like, oh, woman, that's kind of strange. But listen,
well, maybe because of the fact that they had to do an all-woman cast. Couldn't you? You could have did a 2 and 2.
Well, they had the Hemsworth guy, but
but he's what's her name? He's Janine Melnitz.
He's Janine. He's
the Janine.
Secretary.
He's the secretary. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. He's the secretary.
But look, I saw the preview.
Yeah.
I wasn't that disappointed with it.
Neither was I, and so I am not in the batch of people that are going to be downvoting this.
I was hating it more before I saw
it. Yeah. Yo, let's talk about the positives of it. The graphics look great.
It plays a homage to a lot of classic stuff.
A lot of good homages. Now, I'm a little disappointed that their headquarters is not the firehouse. It's not. I'm not disappointed. It's not the firehouse.
They show it though.
They show that. Yeah, but that's just to get people to connect.
Relate.
Yeah, exactly.
And you also see the subway graffiti.
Yeah, with the ghost symbol. I mean, they'll use the ghost symbol. It's going to be pretty much the same symbol. But now they're in a Chinese restaurant instead of a firehouse. But the thing is that it's not in New York, and it's not even a Chinese restaurant in real life. It's actually in Boston, and I was pissed off.
So
I was like, what?
Filmed in Boston, or is it based
half and half
in Boston?
No, it's New York, but
I would assume. I'd hope so.
It's New York, yeah, but it's they did a lot of filming in Boston, which I was disappointed about because you love one of these Ghostbusters things is Ghostbusters is New York. The heart of it is New York.
Washington Square Park.
Yeah, New York is a character in those movies.
One of my favorite parts.
Lincoln Center, Tavern on the Green, the Hook and Ladder 8. So many places. Friggin'
I love when one of my favorite parts of Ghostbusters is I think the Titanic just arrived.
The Titanic just better late than never. They got Cheech Marin.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Better late than never. Yeah. That's in the Ghostbusters too. But yeah, like you said, Washington Square Park. They got the arch was like. There's a somebody said the dinosaur. Oh, it's a head or just a skeleton? And they show the dinosaur going through the arch of Washington Square. I mean, New York is a character in that movie, so it is very New York. To move it would be sad. So now that I hear they're doing a lot of filming in Boston, it's like, I live in New York, so I'd like to go and check these places out, go and take pictures. I'm at the firehouse a lot, so that's part of it. New York is part of that.
And
movie.
You can tell the intro of the movie when they're. Of course, the classic library, New York Library, 42nd Street.
Yeah, that's exactly another example.
So they're in a similar, you can't tell specifically, but it's a similar environment, and an apparition appears.
Yeah.
And someone gets slime vomit.
Yeah, slime vomit.
And the slime's a big factor.
Oh, you're going to need some good slime. It's a nice green slime.
So you mentioned to me, where was Slimer? I think
he's in there. He's in the middle of the trailer.
I need to
watch it again. He's in there. Sean didn't actually even see Slimer in the trailer, but he's in there. He's in there for a second.
He's not
there's even a Twinkie reference in it. One of the electronic billboards when they're in Times Square, it goes I think it says that's a big Twinkie, and that's a homage to Winston saying that's a big Twinkie when he's talking about the size of psychokinetic energy in New York being 35 feet long and approximately 600 pounds.
Richard Peck.
Yeah, Walter Peck.
Walter Peck.
Walter Peck.
This
ridiculous. Yeah. You could have it your way, Dr. Venkman, Mr. Venkman. Exactly what are you a doctor of, Mr. Venkman? Like, well, I have PhDs in parapsychology and psychology. I see. Now you catch ghosts. You could say that. How many ghosts have you caught? It's like just a dick, and then they fight. So that's good. So I'm sure they'll have a character like that in this movie. You know?
So is there a Louis Tuttle?
Louis Tully? Louis Tully. Is there? I don't know. You know, I know that essentially the Janine will be Chris Hemsworth. He's got his glasses on. He's essentially Janine.
That's pretty funny. I saw him.
Yeah, he's in it. Yeah.
So this is a complete role reversal.
Yeah.
He's their secretary.
Yeah, he's the secretary. Yeah.
What I did like was the Egon character.
What's her name? The Kate McKinnon.
That was. Without seeing the movie,
she looks just like
the
Egon
cartoon.
did in the cartoon.
But I like it's the hair, the red glasses.
Because he had blonde hair in the cartoon. The reason why they made them look different is because they didn't have the likeness rights to the actors, so they couldn't actually make the actors look like the characters, or make the characters look like the actual actors themselves. That's why they all look different. And they made Egon blonde, and the whole reason that they have like different colored suits in the show, like they were like blue and shit.
I think action figures.
Yeah, well that too. Well, the main reason was that like kids couldn't really tell them apart when they all had on like the beige suit, the brown, whatever. So they made them different colors, and they gave Egon blonde hair or whatever. So, but now Kate McKinnon looks actually like that character with like the.
And she had kind of funny little weird hipster banter.
Yeah.
Is
it the hat?
The wig?
Yeah, the wig.
I like.
Yeah.
As of right now, she's my
favorite character.
Front runner for my favorite character.
Yeah, that should be good.
You can tell Kristen Wiig's the leader, kind of the Venkman of the new group.
Yeah, she's like kind of half Venkman, half Ray Stantz. Like, because what's her name be? What would
fat
McCarthy?
Woman's Ray Stantz. Then
right.
you have.
No, I think she's more like the Venkman though.
You think so? I think Wiig like is the leader.
Who was really the leader of the Ghostbusters? See, he was the mouth of the Ghostbusters.
Venkman was kind of the front. I'd say the front face. He
was the mouth because they were just like shy scientists.
They were kind of nerdy scientists, but
Raymond Stantz was the heart of the Ghostbusters.
You had Winston, which is massive black guy.
He's a token black guy.
And now you have the
massive steady paycheck
black woman. Token character, the most masculine of the bunch.
Yeah,
but I think. From what I can gather is Wiig is the Venkman, and then you have McCarthy would be Stantz, but McCarthy also probably more of the comedic character. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, we'll see. I think though the characters would be a little different.
I was very skeptical. I was disappointed. I saw the preview. I'm not as deterred. I'm certainly going to see it in the movie theater because Ghostbusters is a soft spot for me and always will be. It's one of my favorite franchises of all time.
Naturally.
And on the topic, we have to discuss a big announcement.
Oh, this is huge. Now, we've mentioned and this is going to be our new retro junk of the week, Ecto Cooler. Ecto Cooler is, talk about retro junk foods. I mean, that really tops the list. I mean, any list you look at the top 90s foods that are no longer here, Ecto Cooler is always on the list.
Boy, it's a big boy.
It really is. And now they're finally doing the right thing and bringing it back. And it's going to be great. Of course, I think they're bringing it in a few different forms.
I'm sure there's gonna be cans.
There's going to be the cans that you see on the internet.
There's a juice box.
The cans and juice boxes, probably jugs of it.
You mentioned internet, a prototype surfaced on eBay.
Yes.
Probably someone from.
Yeah, or possibly a perfectly placed.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, just drop it in there as a little marketing gimmick.
It's owned by Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah. I see it's owned by Coca-Cola. Sure.
That's the thing too is like I'm sure if you're a marketing exec and have access to this stuff, which let's say
it leaked somewhere.
Let's say 100 people have access to this, okay, in Coca-Cola corporate. You don't think Coca-Cola can find your eBay account and figure out who leaked it?
Well, I mean, you give it to a friend and have them do it or some shit. I don't know, but who knows? I mean,
as you said, it could have been strategically.
Placed by their marketing
so when does the
division.
Movie come out? May, June?
Yeah, I think something like that. I didn't even look.
You have a little hype? Oh.
Yeah.
Ecto's coming.
Especially all these man children that are always talking about Ecto Cooler on the internet. I mean, how many Facebook pages? Yeah. I mean, you could. I think the closest that there is Juicy Juice, orange, tangerine, and then you just put green.
Orange tangerine was a high C flavor that was discontinued.
Yeah, but that was the flavor of Ecto Cooler. It was orange tangerine. Yeah. But the thing is that Juicy Juice makes an orange tangerine now, and if you put green food coloring in it, it's the same shit. Very close.
All I know is the second I see that available for purchase,
I'm scooping up tons of it. Sure.
I'm buying a fucking case.
Yeah, I'll make mixed drinks with it. I'll put some tangerine vodka in there.
Done.
Yeah, that'll be be a fun night. That's definitely gonna be a summer drink. I'm gonna do a couple times. We've already called them. We've noted it. We're gonna call the alcoholic version of it Slimers. We'll put tangerine vodka. And Ecto Cooler.
I'm excited to see when merch comes out.
Yeah, and also they're also having.
I would definitely buy a nice Slimer shirt too or something.
I mean, it's got such a rich history, of like a tie-in beverage. It's probably the top tie-in beverage. So tied into a property.
It's one of the rare instances where a tie-in beverage outlasted the franchise.
Yeah,
the initial run.
It was up there till the mid '90s, past the movies.
It was like
past the TV show.
96, 97.
Yeah, I remember it is in Wallbaum's in Greenridge. I remember it as far back as the late '90s.
No, I think it was discontinued 97. Might have been.
It might have still been some shit on the shelves because I remember it like.
Let's say they had a year shelf life with all the fucking chemicals.
Yeah. It was still there.
The show stopped airing like 92 or something.
Yeah, no, the show was done in the early 90s.
You had that Slimer on the juice box.
Slimer was still on the juice box years after every other media was gone.
Outlasted all Ghostbusters media
everything.
About 5 years.
Yeah, everything. The TV show included.
Which one do you think in any instance
that never happens?
A tie-in outlasts the franchise itself?
Never. I mean, never.
Because you know what? It was such a good. The name was cool.
Yeah.
The drink was good.
The drink was good itself.
So it just is a win-win package.
Yeah.
Because now you have like shitty Star Wars cereal. It'll be discontinued in 6 months.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's, that's pretty much always the case in a situation like that.
So also, as you were mentioning, the Twinkie reference before, they're coming out like a green slime Twinkie of some kind.
Sure. They are coming out with lime green Twinkies. Essentially,
is this like a meringue flavor, or is it just dyed?
No, it's a key lime.
That's what I figured.
Key lime flavor. Yeah, somebody's tasted them on the internet. I believe it's Dinosaur Dracula. He's good if you want to go follow him. He got his hands on some and he tasted them. He said it was like very light and airy and like he was like tasted like something you might eat in the morning, like a morning cake, like because it's like got like a light lime flavored. He was like definitely it's supposed to be ectoplasm, but it has like a more elegant taste to it than a regular Twinkie. And it's got of course the green slime and you buy for the package. I'll of course pick those up too.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I'm not a fan.
I'm not a big there's Twinkie stores when we were kids and stuff, but
I mean, I'm not a huge key lime. I mean,
no, nor am I.
Yeah. But I mean, so but I'll definitely try it out.
As far as the Ecto is concerned, I'm buying like a case when I see it.
Yeah, sure.
The build up is just without a doubt huge.
Absolutely no.
It'll be interesting as far as with the marketing, with the toys and such, because I can't see them being a big. Oh, I'm gonna buy fat. What's her name?
Who?
The larger actress.
Just McCarthy.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy a McCarthy action figure right now.
You keep calling her fat, Sean. That's not nice.
Listen,
she's big boned, all right?
Is she fluffy or something?
She's a little fluffy. What? She can have a little fluff. But, yeah.
All right, so we had a lot to talk about. Lots of gander here. We're also kind of it's the dog days of summer. When it comes to, like, the pop culture, the dog days of, March, February. Because you're right before the summer cusp. So you're in between shit right now.
Sure.
But, yeah, as a whole, Deadpool, great movie. There's a lot to look forward to coming down.
Absolutely.
Star Trek, X-Men.
The Star Trek, X-Men, Civil War. I mean, it's going to be fun. It'll be a fun summer full of that stuff. I hope everyone enjoys himself. Yeah, we're clocking out. We're about 70-something minutes here. So I guess that's it for this week. Everybody enjoy your weeks, enjoy your commutes, and that'll be it for us. Keep watching the stars.